Hey, Evie.
Hi.
What you doing?
I'm coloring a monarch to put up in the park.
In the park where?
And the Lafayette Park.
La Follette Park.
La Follette Park near our
That's
house.
going to be our next free little library seed station, right?
Yeah.
So how many libraries have we put our seeds in so far? Do you know?
5.
Yeah, that'll be our 5th little library that we put milkweed seeds, right?
Yeah.
Why do we need to plant milkweed seeds?
So it's this way. So think of it this way. Adult monarch butterflies lay their eggs on milkweed, and since milkweed's endangered, so are they. They need milkweed to lay their eggs on, so then they can get monarch caterpillars.
Right.
And the caterpillars eat the milkweed.
They do. They eat it, right? Do you remember how much milkweed they ate? Remember last summer when we were raising monarch caterpillars? Oh my gosh, they eat so much milkweed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we had caterpillars that would eat almost a whole leaf per day.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so, what's happened to all the milkweed? And where did it go?
Then after that pot, so it's kind of like a bear. So a bear has to eat and eat and eat until if it's full, then it still has to keep on eating, and it's same with the monarchs. So they can have enough energy to sleep throughout when they're in the chrysalis.
Right.
So like the third part of their metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is when an animal goes through a process to be an adult. So it's like frogs. First, the frog lays an egg, then that egg hatches into a tadpole, and then later that frog becomes an adult frog.
Right. Caterpillars do something similar too, except I think it's more magical.
Except the process it goes in 3 stages. 1, the caterpillar comes out of the egg, or the egg is still there. 2, the monarch becomes a caterpillar, and then that's when they eat and eat and eat until and they need to keep on eating it even if they're full. And then they make their chrysalis.
Right.
So how you know that is because they form into a J.
Yeah.
And then
do they form into a J on the ground, or do they, like, where do they do that?
They would do it on a branch, because if they did it on the ground, then a predator could easily get it.
Right, that's true.
So like omnivores or insectivores, like birds,
right,
would get it. So
they hang upside down in a J, and then what happens?
Then they kind of shift around to make their cell. So if you watch the process, then they start turning a little green, and then after that, it becomes a official pupa or chrysalis.
Right. And then how long, do you remember how long it took when we had to wait for it to hatch out of its chrysalis?
Yeah, So if you compare that to a bear, it's like how a bear needs to store food in its body during the winter, so it can survive while it's sleeping.
Yeah, but bears don't come out in spring and turn into a different animal. What happens to a caterpillar?
So after it's done with the pupa process, or what we call a chrysalis, it comes out. It starts like it. So how you know it's ready to come out is because you'll start seeing wings.
Yeah.
And the wings are kind of orangey, and there's black, and there's white dots, and the black part around them.
Yeah.
The wings. And then they'll start trying to force open the pupa chrysalis thing. And then after that, they start crawling out. So a question you might have is, do they fly away right away? No. After they come out, they're wet. And their wings are crumpled. And their abdomens are a little pushed up. So it takes time for them.
How much time? Do you remember?
It takes a lot of time.
It takes a few hours, right?
Yeah, so it needs to make sure the wings are dry.
Yeah.
And the abdomen is all puffed out like a tail.
Right.
And then after that, it's ready to take off.
That's right. Where do they go? Do you know?
They fly 100 miles to Mexico.
Like 100 miles a day, I think, right?
100 miles a day.
Because it's longer than 100 miles to get to Mexico.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but you know what's so weird about monarchs? What I find interesting is that not every generation of monarch flies to Mexico. Only the ones in fall, right? The ones that come out in like August, September.
Yeah, so if they were in the wild and still on a milkweed, then they would still stay in the pupa. Yeah. They would still have enough food to stay in the pupa. Because if they come out, they like have half of food stored in them.
Well, and I've heard that milkweed is becoming more scarce because people tear it out because it's a weed, right?
Yep, but you can help with that. Since there's 5 little libraries scattered across the West Dallas area,
yep,
you can find the one. You can save the monarchs if you find a little library with a butterfly on it. There's one at Jefferson and one at Madison.
Yep.
Elementaries. And there's gonna even be one in the park.
Yeah.
Well,
in
the
La Follette Park.
At La Follette Park.
Yeah.
If you take a milkweed, then you can save the species. So, like, if you put it in a garden,
yeah,
it will be able to grow and grow and grow nonstop.
And maybe if you grow a milkweed, maybe you'll get your own caterpillars, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah. But you need to be on a special watch. You need to make sure you would need to make sure your plants are aphid free, because if there's aphids, then they'll eat it and
the milkweed,
and they'll make it wither.
Yeah, so we got to keep a healthy milkweed, right?
So first,
and Evie, can you tell everybody?
You could cover a whole area with pesticides, not going on the plants.
Right. So Evie, can you tell us how many seed packets did we give away in the little libraries? Do you remember? How many, what was our total? It's a big number.
Probably
It's a 50, you remember? We gave, 50.
50 packets.
For what?
For all 5 libraries.
No, for the 50th anniversary of what?
For the 50th anniversary of Earth Day.
That's right.
So this is kind of like Easter, except this is all scattered everywhere, and the Easter Bunny doesn't scatter your presents everywhere. It just hides.
Oh, it's like a search.
He just hides them somewhere in your house.
That's funny.
But there's other little libraries, so there might be even one in your neighborhood. Yep.
And so what do we want to say for...
Thank you for saving the monarchs.
That's right. And thanks for celebrating Earth Day with us, right?
Because even though this isn't regular, you could plant a milkweed showing Earth Day.
That's right. We want to give everybody something to do for Earth Day that's positive, right?
But also, if you get more, if it's in you could even scatter your milkweed everywhere, because milkweed seeds are attached to this little fluff, and it scatters everywhere.
It does. That's right. So we hope that you will grow some milkweed with us and save the monarchs, right?
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Happy Earth Day.